examination. Does anybody like to tell कि what do you understand by higher mental functions? क्या होते हैं? Anyone, any student? I can see there are 153 around participants. None of you know कि what is higher mental functions assessment and how would you assess? Hurry up, come on with your responses. This is a 2-hour long class and this has to be interactive. MSc, what is MSc? Memory. ठीक है. So there were a bit of interruption. Hope my voice is clear enough now. Level of consciousness, language, memory, cognition. Acha ji. What else? And how would you assess higher mental functions in a pediatric age group? How would you assess? What questions would you ask, or what things would you do to assess higher mental function? Suppose of a 10-year-old child, a 10-year-old child comes to you for the assessment of higher mental function. So what questions would you ask in sequence? Sit. Majority of you are sleeping, not interested in class. Just have logged in and not interested in class anymore. So examination classes cannot be conducted in this way. At least I cannot. I need to have some feedback so that I know that there is someone at the other end. So, sure, let's start. Assessment of higher mental function. Some of you has responded. We have few things that we look for. We start with looking the appearance of the child. Okay, is the appearance is age appropriate? Agar bacha older, if the child is older enough to take care of himself or herself, is the child well kept, properly groomed hai, properly dressed hai, hair done hai ya nahi hai? So this appearance in itself tells you so much about the patient. Then you check the level of alertness according to the age. Like alertness for a toddler would be different as compared to alertness of an older child or a teenage child, 10 or 11 years old child. Okay, then we assess the speech and different components of the speech abhi hum karenge in the next slide. Then comes the behavior. We see the behavior of the patient. Okay, this is the child has any abnormality in the behavior. कोई abnormal signs and symptoms तो नहीं है, कोई abnormal signals तो नहीं है. The child behavior is combative or not, or the child is withdrawn from the environment. Then yes, some of you have commented okay, orientation. We check the awareness of the environment, that is also commonly referred to as orientation of the child. Orientation अब कैसे check करते हैं? We check it in three sections: orientation of the patient with time, place, and person. Okay, suppose if an older child is coming to us, we will check the awareness ki whether they know ki what time of the day it is, what time of the day it is, what where is the patient present. The patient is in the hospital setting or in the home setting, and with the person that the patient is able to know ki whether the child is with whom the child is interacting. The patient knows ki whether the child is interacting with doctor or with some of the family members. So this is how we check the orientation with time, place, and person. And then we say, you since you people are in final years, you must have taken history in third and fourth years, and you must have done the examination in previous years. And usually we start our examination with the statement that my child is age so and so, lying comfortably on bed, oriented with time, place, and person. So this orientation is this thing. Okay. Then we check for the thought process and content of their thought process. Okay, what are they actually thinking? Sometimes in some older children, there are so many negative thoughts going on in their mind, and that may lead to some adverse effects on their overall personality. Okay, so this is also important to know. Okay, what is actually going on, what is their thought process, and what type of thinking they are having at the moment. Okay, sometimes some depressed children can have suicidal thoughts. So if the physician or the doctor know about it, they can prompt their parents. Then comes the assessment of memory. In memory again has various parts: the immediate recall, the recent memory, and the remote memory. Due to some abnormalities in the brain, sometimes the patient may not be, or some illnesses, the patient may not be able to recall the immediate recall. Like what you do in immediate recall, you show them certain cards. If the child is smaller enough, you show them certain cards showing some numbers and ask them to remember. And after a few moments of 5 minutes, you ask them to recall all those shown cards. Then in recent memory, things that happen in the recent past, like what did the child ate in yesterday in breakfast, what was the child's 2 days back dinner, or where did the child go 2 days back. These all things come into the recent memory. Then comes the remote memory. Remote memory means like something, there's some glimpses of their birthdays last year, or if they had some visit to somewhere, so details about the visit. Then we age appropriate calculations, ability to perform calculations. This will determine the higher mental functions. Then we assess the judgment of the patient. How do we assess judgment of the patient? We give them a common scenarios and ask them, okay, what would be their reaction in those scenarios. Then higher cortical functions and reasoning is making, we give them certain mathematical things to and ask them to do that. We give them a complex scenarios and ask them to what would be their response. So this is how we start with the assessment of the these things tell so much about the patient. Okay, what is actual the mental status of the patient. इसमें एक चीज we have missed, the speech has there are few abnormalities. If the child higher mental functions are not intact, then there are few problems that can be seen in the speech of the child. So broadly, they are divided into three: the dysarthria, dysphonia, and dysphasia. Starting with dysarthria. What is dysarthria? Damage to those parts of the nervous system that regulate the action of voice and speech. Okay? It causes distinctive alteration of the speech pattern. Most important disorder of this type is cerebral palsy. You must have seen so many CP children not able to have normal speech because the vital centers of the brain that is involved in speech, they are disrupted. Sometimes it can be due to local lesions of the tongue. Okay, articulation problem हो रही है, तो it can be in the local lesion of the tongue. Like sometimes when we have very bad aphthous ulcerations, our speech is somewhat disrupted. Then any lesions of the lip or within the mouth. The brain causes me the bulbar palsy and the pseudobulbar palsy are one of the that controls the movement of the pharyngeal muscles and lingual muscles. So these are damage to either those parts at the terminal organ parts or the damage at the brain level. Then comes the dysphonia. Dysphonia usually it's the disorder of the voice. Usually this dysphonia results from vocal cord pathology or damage to the vagal nerve, which supplies the vocal cords. Next is dysphasia. Dysphasia means it can be partial or total loss of language as a result of even those parts of the brain that are directly related to the language function. Two areas of our brain, they are directly related to either comprehension of the language or formation of the language or their verbal language. They are Broca's area. In the Broca's area lies in the third frontal convolutions and Wernicke's area, which lies in the posterior third of the upper temporal convolutions. This Broca's area, I'll show you the picture. This is the Broca's area. This lies anterior to the central sulcus in the frontal lobe, and this is the posterior speech area, Wernicke's area, okay, which lies in the temporal lobe. So Broca's area is responsible for word production and language expression, whereas Wernicke's area, it comprehends the spoken language. This area is responsible for production of the voice, and this is for the comprehension of what others are saying. And here you can see other areas also, but we will not discuss those areas now. Today's topic, let us start with the cranial nerve examination. How many cranial nerves are there in total? Anyone from the students? 12. Okay. ठीक है बच्चों पता चल गया सब लोग को. There are 12 in total. So what are the basic types of the cranial nerves? How many types of them are there? Anyone? Motor, sensory, mixed. ठीक है, good. So cranial nerves, as you all know, they are 12 in number, and they can be either pure sensory, they can be either pure motor, or they can be mixed nerves. Okay, so which is the first cranial nerve? Which one is the first cranial nerve? olfactory, ठीक है. And what type of nerve is this? Ophthalmic नहीं है बच्चे, olfactory है, sensitive. Very good. So now comes to the examination techniques. The first one is the olfactory cranial nerves, and it is basically responsible for the sense of the smell. अब assessment कैसे करेंगे? Assessment is different for different ages. क्योंकि आप pediatric examination कर रहे हैं, तो one simple technique cannot be followed to all the patients. So we usually don't do it in smaller children, ठीक है. बहुत छोटे बच्चों में, infants में we don't check the olfactory nerves. क्यों? एक तो वो perceive इतना अच्छा सा नहीं कर सकते, वो कर तो सकते हैं, but still they won't be able to communicate to us these things. Bedside techniques क्या होती हैं? We use non-pungent smells. Usual day-to-day use की जो smells होती हैं, like orange peel, coffee powder, soap, toothpaste, some fragrance. Each nostril is checked separately. We ask the patient to close the eyes and close one nostril. Put the thing that is meant to be smelled from against one nostril. We keep it away from the skin and ask the patient, does the patient is able to smell or not. If the patient is able to smell it and tell you properly, like this is orange, this is mango, this is toothpaste, this is soap, this is mint, so that means the olfactory nerve is intact. Usually impaired कब होती है olfaction? Tell me the causes of impaired functioning of olfactory nerves. दो तो यहाँ पे लिखे हुए हैं. After closed head injury हो सकती है, और ब्लॉक नोज, ठीक है, नॉस्ट्रल्स ट्रॉमा. व्हाट एल्स? आजकल अगर कोई आ रहा है लॉस ऑफ स्मेल के साथ, क्या सोचेंगे? कोविड. वेरी गुड, ठीक है. तो दिस इज रिसेंटली पॉलिप से बेटा वो नहीं होगा, कंप्लीट लॉस तो नहीं होगा ना, until unless that polyp is completely obstructing your nasal passage. कॉमन कोल्ड, अच्छा सिर्फ कोविड नहीं होता, कॉमन कोल्ड भी one of the common cause of transient loss of smell. But yes, in current pandemic situation, loss of olfaction has been found as one of the significant symptoms of COVID. So there is no rocket science in checking the olfactory nerve. Achha, one more thing, it's very difficult to tell all the techniques through online teaching, so we'll try to do as much as possible, and later on whenever the conditions get normal, you'll come back to your wards, then we will have again the sessions of these examination techniques, because everything cannot be taught by simply on online. Next nerve is optic nerve. Optic nerve का main function क्या होता है? It is primarily responsible for vision. But there are different components of examination. अब कैसे check करते हैं? Visual acuity, that is called the acuity of vision. We check the field of vision. We check color vision, and then we do the fundus examination. The testing of visual acuity, usually infants में we cannot have any formal way of checking visual acuity. We just observe them and see them to reach for the objects. ठीक है, कोई colorful objects बच्चों के पास रखे हैं to grab their attention, and if they are trying to reach that toy, that colorful object, that means their visual acuity is intact. For older children, थोड़े से बड़े हो जाए, infant above 6 months or 9-10 months, जब उनका pincer grasp आ जाता है. pincer grasp कब आता है बच्चों का? Around 9 months, ठीक है. तो we observe them to reach for the scraps of paper, very small size, like less than 5 millimeter in size, or sometimes if there are certain beads and they are reaching for it, that means their vision is intact, they can see that. बड़े बच्चे हैं, they are able to read, तो स्टैंडर्ड रिकॉग्निशन ऑफ लेटर्स के थ्रू हम करवा रहे होते हैं, या फिर जो स्नेलन चार्ट, जो हमारे स्टैंडर्ड स्नेलन चार्ट्स होते हैं, वी चेक द विजुअल एक्विटी विद दैट. तो दिस इज अ पिक्चर ऑफ अ स्टैंडर्ड स्नेलन चार्ट, जिससे हम विजुअल एक्विटी फॉर डिस्टेंट विजन चेक करते हैं. दिस इज फॉर पिक्चर फॉर दोज चिल्ड्रन. नॉट एवरी चाइल्ड विल बी एबल टू recognize the letters, तो उनके लिए specialized charts होते हैं. और कलर विजन के लिए हम क्या कर रहे होते हैं, इशारा चार्ट्स यूज कर रहे होते हैं. अभी आएगा आगे. अच्छा, देन विजुअल, कम टू द विजुअल फील्ड्स. Visual field usually it is done by perimetry, but how do we do it on the bedside way? We do it by confrontation method. First we check binocular vision. Binocular vision, how do you check it? The patient sits in front of you, you ask both look at each other's nose, and with no eyes closed, the examiner extends the arms, and what does the examiner do? Tries to introduce hand or a colored object from both sides, and the examiner as well as the patient should see all the things simultaneously. छोटे बच्चों में क्या कर रहे होते हैं, we just try to put a good colored objects from periphery to center, and if the child turns head towards it, that means the visual field is intact. Then थोड़ा first जब आपने adult only older children में you have done binocular vision, उसके बाद you have to check the uniocular vision. Usually the distance between the examiner and the patient should be 1 meter, and the corresponding eye should be closed while examining. Like if you are checking the right eye of the patient, so you have to close the examiner has to close the left eye, क्योंकि patient मेरे सामने होगा, सामने उसकी right eye होगी. Like suppose if you are the patient and I'm checking the your right eye, so your left eye would be closed and my right eye would be closed. ठीक है? And vice versa. So there are two methods to do it. Either you bring different number of fingers from periphery, from all the quadrants, upward, downward, temporal में अगर आप ये वाली eye check करें, if I'm checking my patient's left eye and my right eye, so I will bring my hand or any colored object from all the 4 quadrants, above, downwards, and nasal में above and downwards. This is how it is done. Or you can ask you can bring different number of fingers from all the 4 quadrants and ask the patient to mimic those fingers. But if you are doing it with a colored object or colored pen, it is equal. So this is how कि अगर कोई damage है in the visual field में, some part of the nerve is not working, so you can have at least some idea by this method. So this is the pictorial representation. Then you also check the pupillary reflex. To best check the pupillary reflex, the light in the room should be dim. Pupillary reflex, it has 2 parts. This reflex arc has 2 parts. Afferent, those taking signals from the eye to the brain, it is through the cranial nerve 2, and efferent is through the cranial nerve 3. तो there could be different conditions कि जिसमें आपको अगर pupillary reflex नहीं मिल रहा, so you have to think of both these nerves क्योंकि it has 2 components, afferent and efferent. Afferent is through cranial nerve 2 and efferent is through cranial nerve 3. How do we do it, pupillary reflex? How do we do it? We shine the light in the pupil and observe constriction of the pupil. Okay, we do it in both the eyes. If we are doing it in the right eye, a hand ideally should be placed here so that the light does not go to that eye. And you shine the light from the side and observe for the response. The response क्या होता है? It constricts. In this constriction, if present, that means pupillary reflex is present. And if it's sluggish or it's absent, that means there is some pathology somewhere, either in the pathway or in the brain or at any other level. Then we check the consensual pupillary reflex. What is consensual pupillary reflex? कैन एनीवन टेल मी? पढ़ा होगा बच्चों ये तो, तुम लोगों ने फाइनल ईयर में आ गए हो अब तो. एनीवन कैन रेज हैंड और उसका फिर मैं माइक अनम्यूट कर दूंगी, बिकॉज इट कैन नॉट बी टोल्ड जस्ट बाय writing. What is consensual pupillary reflex and how does it work? Any one of you? No one? No one knows what is consensual pupillary reflex? The other eye constricts as well. The other eye constricts as well. क्यों? Why? कौन बताएगा ये? Why does the other eye constricts? लाइट तो आप एक में डाल रहे हैं ना. Hurry up, anyone? सोचो, दिमाग चलाओ अपना. What could be the cause? क्यों other eye constrict कर रही है? So chalo, I will not tell this. This is your homework. So what we do in consensual pupillary reflex, we shine a light into the pupil, but this time we observe the contralateral pupil. Normal, what happens in the normal consensual response, that contralateral pupil constriction होती है, जिस आई में आपने राइट डाली है लेफ्ट वाले में होगी. And reason I will not tell. This is your homework. खुद पढ़ोगे आप लोग. This is your homework. Whenever I would be coming for my next class, I'll ask you people. Okay, go back to your physiology and read that. जरा optic nerve का pathway पढ़ो, ठीक है? This is the hint. We will get the answer in the pathway of optic nerve, and we'll know what is consensual pupillary reflex. But yes, here I'm telling you you have to check both the direct and the consensual pupillary reflex. Then comes the accommodation, is another function of the optic nerve. We ask the patient to look away. We hold a colorful thing in our hand. We ask the patient, like, this is the thing, I'm holding it in my hand, okay? Suppose I'm the patient. I ask the patient to look far away at the wall, and then I bring it in front of the nose and ask the patient to look back on it. So this is how the eye converges and constricts. So this is to look for the nearby objects. So this is called the accommodation reflex. Okay, both the eye converges and pupil constricts as well when the patient tries to focus a thing which is near away, and it has to be done quickly that you can document this. You ask the patient to look away on a wall, bring a colored object in front, and then suddenly ask the patient to look on that. So both the eyes converge and the pupil constrict. This is called accommodation reflex. Or you can do it by your finger also. ठीक है ना? You can put a finger in front of the patient, ask the patient to look at the wall, and then look at the finger. Then color vision. Usually the primary colors assessment के लिए use होता है red, green and blue by showing some different toys to the patient. और अगर बड़ा बच्चा है, older child है, तो you can always check it by इशारा eye plate charts. इशारा cards होते हैं. So it is this something like this कि dotted pictures होती हैं, and then red, green, blue colors से कोई digit या कोई letter लिखा हुआ होता है. If the patient is able to read that, that means the color vision is intact. Most of the time what happens, usually अगर आप एक color, if the patient is blind in one color, so there may be a possibility that they may or may not know that they are colorblind. Then comes the third cranial nerve. Also, third cranial nerve, what does it supply? It supplies the extraocular muscles. So what we do, we check third, fourth, and sixth cranial nerves simultaneously because they collectively control the extraocular muscles of the eye. Eye के extraocular muscles होते हैं और intraocular muscles होते हैं. इसमें we have missed the fifth cranial nerve क्योंकि that has different functions. So this third, fourth, and sixth, they are the motor nerves, and the basic function is the movement of eye because they supply the extraocular muscles. So all the muscles of the eye are supplied by the oculomotor nerve except the two, superior oblique and lateral rectus. That superior oblique is supplied by the trochlear nerve and lateral rectus is supplied by the abducent nerves. ठीक है, बाकी superior rectus, inferior oblique, medial rectus, and levator palpebrae superioris is supplied by the oculomotor nerve. So this is the important thing to remember. What would be the presenting symptom of any of this nerve damage? Diplopia, because abnormal eye movements correspond नहीं करते हैं दोनों eyes के images. Again, in smaller children, you cannot give them command, so you just have to observe eye movements when a colored object is moved in various directions of the visual fields. Above the age of 4 or 5, when the child is older enough to respond to your commands, then we check all these muscles simultaneously. We have already done it कि 4 recta and 2 oblique होते हैं. These are the muscles: superior rectus, inferior rectus, medial rectus, lateral rectus, superior oblique, and inferior oblique. So superior rectus, how do we check it? Okay. Superior rectus is usually responsible for moving the eye upward. Inferior rectus moves the eye downwards. Lateral rectus moves the eye laterally. Medial rectus moves the eye medially. अच्छा, ये inferior oblique और superior oblique has different function. They move against their names. Inferior oblique will move upward, but superior oblique also moves upward, but when the eye is moved laterally, then it moves the eyes upward. When the eye is moved medially, then inferior oblique moves it upward. Similarly, inferior rectus moves the eye laterally, moves the eye downwards. When the eye is moved laterally, eyeball is moved laterally, then inferior rectus move it down. And if the eyeball is medially, then superior oblique moves it down. So ये दो muscles हैं जिनके functions are opposite as of their names. अच्छा, check कैसे करते हैं? We usually check them simultaneously. Ask the patient to look straight, keep a finger in front of the head. We move it laterally. We ask the patient to follow just by the pupillary movements, not by the movement of the head. So uske liye what you can do, you can stabilize the head like this. Keep a finger, you move it laterally. Lateral जाके ऊपर और नीचे कौन चेक करेगा? In superior rectus and inferior rectus. Similarly, when you are doing at this side, एक side पे laterally move करके superior rectus and inferior rectus is telling you, and the opposite eye जो medial move हुई है उसको superior inferior कौन move करेगा? Superior oblique and the inferior oblique. So H, we have to make the H. Yes, making a H sign. Then अभी हमने जो मिस की थी trigeminal nerve. Trigeminal is a mixed form of the nerve, as we discussed it in the beginning. Its function is to supply sensory sensation to the face and eyes, and it is motor to the muscles of mastication, and then it has some parasympathetic and sympathetic fibers as well. It is involved in two reflexes, corneal and conjunctival reflexes. Sensory key, there are three divisions: ophthalmic, maxillary, and mandibular division. If we take the tragus of the ear, ठीक है, and draw a line up to the outer canthus, तो यहाँ से जो यहाँ तक आपने outer canthus और tragus से जो line ली, इससे ऊपर की जो सारी चीज़ें हैं, this is ophthalmic, and this line below, again from the tragus to the angle of the mouth, this is maxillary, and below that is mandibular. Okay, तो the ophthalmic, maxillary and mandibular division. Sensation, it takes sensation from the face. अच्छा, मोटर में क्या कैसे चेक करेंगे? इट सप्लाइज टू दी मसल्स ऑफ मेस्टिकेशन. तो मसल्स ऑफ मेस्टिकेशन आप कैसे चेक करेंगे? यू कीप योर हैंड्स लाइक दिस, ठीक है, एंड आस्क द पेशेंट टू क्लेंच. When the patient clenches, you can feel the masseter muscles here, and you can also feel the temporalis muscles here. कि both the temples पे आप रखेंगे, and the patient, ask the patient to clench. तो ऊपर ये temporalis muscle है, इसकी constriction you will feel, and will also feel the constriction of contraction of the masseter's muscles. और अगर यूनिलैटरल इन्वॉल्वमेंट होगी, ऑलवेज चेक इट बायलैटरली, क्योंकि अगर एक तरफ की मूवमेंट स्लो है या लेस फोर्सफुल है, तो दैट मीन्स दैट देयर इज पेरिसिस और पैरालिसिस ऑफ दैट टाइप ऑफ द नर्व. And then what you can pterygoid muscles कैसे चेक करेंगे? You can ask the patient to move the jaw laterally. ठीक है. तो यूजुअली ऑपोजिट मसल मूव करता है. ऑपोजिट टाइप ऑफ द साइड ऑफ द मसल यूज करता है. तो यूनिलैटरल पैरालिसिस में क्या होगा? जॉ विल नॉट मूव टुवर्ड्स द नॉर्मल साइड. गेट इट? क्योंकि दिस साइड ऑफ द pterygoid will move it to the other side like this. If this side's nerve is paralyzed, तो the jaw will not move to the normal side, और normal side की तरफ क्या movement करेंगे, that will move. Okay, next is, अच्छा ठीक है, this is corneal reflex. ठीक है, corneal and the conjunctival reflex. Usually we do avoid the corneal reflex because it's irritating for the patient. We just check the conjunctival reflex. We touch the cornea with the cotton, and there will be reflex closure of the eyelids. Sensation आप कैसे चेक करेंगे? You will ask the patient to close the eyes and say yes if the patient feels something. और उससे पहले what you do, you give the feeling of that patient by touching it to the hand or with the eyes open to the face के. If you feel like this, just say yes. And then similarly उन सारे quadrants में you have to check it. ठीक है, ये दिस यहाँ आप फोरहेड पे चेक करोगे तो दिस इज ऑप्थेल्मिक, मैक्सिलरी, एंड देन ये मैक्सिलरी है, ये मैंडिबुलर चेक कर रहे हैं. दिस इज हाउ यू चेक द टेम्पोरालिस. और यहाँ पे हाथ रख के यू चेक फॉर द मैसेटर एंड pterygoid मूवमेंट ऑफ द लेटरल मूवमेंट ऑफ द जॉज. देन थर्ड, फोर्थ, फिफ्थ, सिक्स्थ हो गई. नेक्स्ट इज द सेवेंथ नर्व, फेशियल नर्व. फेशियल नर्व का क्या फंक्शन है? इट इज मोटर टू द फेशियल मसल्स. ठीक है, जो सारे आपके फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन के मसल्स होते हैं, यूजुअली दे आर सप्लाइड बाय द फेशियल नर्व. इट कैरीज टेस्ट सेंसेशन फ्रॉम एंटीरियर 2/3 ऑफ द टंग. और मोटर, अच्छा मोटर चेक कैसे करेंगे इसके? देयर आर डिफरेंट वेज टू चेक. First, you'll ask the patient, stabilize the head and ask them to look at the ceiling. Ceiling पे जब देख रहे हैं तो there has to be wrinkling. तो frontalis muscles check हो गए. Ask the patient to close the eyes as strongly as possible, and we try to open it. ठीक है, orbicularis oculi check हो गए. Then if the facial muscle is paralyzed, facial nerve is paralyzed, तो जिस साइड की facial paralyzed होगी, loss of nasolabial fold on that side of the mouth होगा. And sometimes there can be deviation of the angle of the mouth. Then you can ask them to show their teeth. अगर nasolabial fold usually इतने अच्छे से visible नहीं हो रहे, तो you ask the patient to show the teeth. जब वो teeth show होंगे, तो if there is any asymmetry of both sides of the facial nerves, that will be exaggerated and will be picked up more properly. Then you ask them to blow. Buccinator muscles check हो जाएंगे, and then you try to, ठीक है, तो जिस साइड पे वीकनेस होगी उस साइड पे प्रॉपर नहीं हो रहा होगा. Sensations, anterior 2/3 of the tongue. Any toffee or candy, anything sweet, sour. Usually we check 4 things: na? Sweet, sour, bitter, and we can check it. But usually on the bedside it is not checked. Achha, now there can be 2 type of lesions of the cranial nerve 7. That upper part of the face has supply from both the nuclei. ठीक है, usually क्या होता है, राइट साइड का लेफ्ट पे होता है, लेफ्ट साइड का राइट पे होता है. बट व्हाट हैपेंस, अपर पार्ट ऑफ द फेस हैज डुअल इनर्वेशन, दोनों न्यूक्लियाई से आ रही होती है. तो व्हाट हैपेंस इफ द लीजन इज एट द लेवल ऑफ द न्यूक्लियस, जिसको हम अपर मोटर न्यूरॉन लीजन कहते हैं. तो इन दैट the upper part of the face is spared, like wrinkling. There is a possibility कि wrinkling हो रही हो, there is a possibility कि their orbicularis oculi muscle function intact हो. But in case of the lower motor neuron lesion of the 7th nerve, the whole of the face would be paralyzed. Whole of the right side of the face would be affected. So this is how you differentiate कि अगर आपको lower face में findings मिल रही हैं, upper में बहुत अच्छी नहीं मिल रही हैं, तो that means कि facial nerve जो palsy है वो upper motor neuron type है. So this is a pictorial representation of wrinkling. You can directly ask them to wrinkle, but छोटे बच्चों में usually possible नहीं होता ना कि आप उनको समझा नहीं सकते. तो what we do, we ask them, we stabilize the head and ask them to look at the ceiling. तो वो automatically wrinkling आ जाती है. Then you blow, ask them to blow and try to poke in the cheeks and see whether the air passes from the mouth or not. Then checking the orbicularis oculi muscles. This is how the nasolabial fold is checked. Then comes the vestibulocochlear nerve. Okay, usually vestibulocochlear का क्या function होता है? Sound perception होती है, hearing के लिए responsible होती है, and maintenance of the balance के लिए responsible होती है. Hearing assessment again not possible in very smaller children. ठीक है, उनमें अगर आपको कोई एबनॉर्मेलिटी रख रही है, मदर अगर लॉस ऑफ स्टार्टल रिफ्लेक्स है. स्टार्टल रिफ्लेक्स क्या होता है कि when there is sudden jerk or sudden production of a noise, the child has some twitching movements of very brief, जिसको हम चौंकना कहते हैं. So that is a startle reflex. If that is absent, so we can send that smaller child for formal BERA test, brainstem audiometry evaluation. उसमें फिर आप ये usual जो हमारे bedside techniques test हैं, हम ये नहीं कर सकते. ठीक है ना, जैसे इन्फेंट्स में we assess for the blinking of the eyes, sudden change or cessation of the activity, change in the heart rate, turning of the head towards the sound stimulus of a bell or whistle, or turning to mother's sound. These are just the crude methods. अच्छा, बड़े बच्चों में आप क्या करते हैं? Hearing roughly assessment. We ask for any presence or absence of tinnitus. Then 3 years onwards, formal hearing test has to be done if you have any suspicion, that is the audiometry. Then we have 2 bedside tests that we do. One is the Rinne's, other is the Weber's. As you know, there are as you know, okay, there are two type of hearing losses. One is the conductive deafness, other is the central sensory neural deafness. Sensory neural deafness means कि brain के अंदर कुछ problem है, और conductive deafness can be due to otitis media, recurrent otitis media. तो यूजली कंडक्टिव डेफनेस ज़्यादा होती है बच्चों में. तो हाउ डू यू चेक इट, जस्ट टू हैव द क्रूड आइडिया. First we do the Rennie's test and then the Weber's test. Achha, these both tests are based on the principle of कि air conduction is always better than the bone conduction. ठीक है, कि एयर की जो कंडक्शन है वो हमेशा बेटर होती है फ्रॉम बोन कंडक्शन में. So what we do, we keep a base of the tuning fork at the mastoid process just behind the ear. Okay, and when the child is not, we ask the child, tell us when you are not able to hear it. When the child is not able to hear the vibrations at the mastoid process, we bring it near the external auditory canal. Ideally, since we know that air conduction should be better than the bone conduction in the normal subjects, so at that moment the child should be able to hear hear the vibrations. When he or she was not hearing it over the mastoid, he or she should be perceiving it when putting it in front of the ears. So if this is so the case, we say Rennie's is positive. That means air conduction is better than the bone conduction. Okay, if the patient is not able to listen it, so we, just to confirm it, we repeat the test in reverse order. What we do, we put the tuning fork here, start from keeping it in front of the external auditory canal, and ask the patient, prompt us when you are not able to listen it. And if the patient is not able to listen and we are keeping it on over the mastoid, and the patient says that the patient is able to listen over the mastoid, so that means in that case air conduction is not better than bone conduction in that particular child. तो उसको हम क्या कहेंगे कि Rennie's is negative. ठीक है. Next is the Weber test. Weber test में what we do, okay, so this is the pictorial representation of Rennie's test. कि आपने पहले यहाँ पे mastoid पे रखा, and when the patient not able to hear, you keep it in front of the external auditory canal, and the patient is able to hear it here, and this is called Rennie's positive. So the normal thing is Rennie's positive. Then the Weber. अच्छा, यहाँ पे भी रख सकते हैं. We can keep it on the forehead as well. So both the procedures are correct. We keep a tuning fork here and ask the patient in which ear the patient hears the best. The usual क्या होता है? The usual finding should be कि Weber should be central. दोनों कानों में सेम सी आवाज आनी चाहिए. Again, the interpretation usually कि the hearing is normal, या तो दोनों के दोनों कानों में same problem है. So usually sensory neural deafness में क्या होता है? now देखिए, if the patient is listening abnormally, like एक कान में ज़्यादा आ रही है, एक कान में कम आ रही है, तो sensory neural deafness में lateralized to the normal side ear. ठीक है. Whereas in conductive deafness में it is lateralized to the diseased ear. So again, Weber will not tell you कि which ear is damaged. It will just give you a hint. अगर central है तो बात ही खत्म कि it is normal, or there can be a remote possibility कि दोनों कानों में ही problem हो. Equal deafness है दोनों ears में, तभी वो जो है वो है, which is very rarely the case. But if it's lateralized to the one ear, so we can have two interpretation. If there is sensory neural, तो normal में lateralized होगी, and if it is conductive deafness, तो it is lateralized to the diseased ear. So then again, then you have to go, before doing anything else, you have to go for audiometry test. Acha ji. Now vestibular, part of the vestibular cochlear, usually it is responsible for balancing of the child. And how does it dysfunction presents with vertigo, dizziness and symptoms like that. Usually कभी कभी nystagmus भी हमें मिल जाता है, but usually it's not in the case के balancing की वजह से usually we don't find it. There's a remote possibility कि sometimes you get it, but usual cases you don't get it. So there are certain caloric tests, cold and hot caloric tests, but they are obsolete now. We don't do it. We don't perform it. And it's very uneasy and very uncomfortable for the patient. So we don't do it. If there is any balancing problem, so we can go for formal assessment, but we don't do the caloric test until unless बहुत ज़्यादा ही ज़रूरत ना हो, or just for the pure theoretical purposes. Then the ninth nerve and the 10th nerve. 9 is the glossopharyngeal and 10th is the vagus. Again, they both nerves tested simultaneously. क्यों? क्योंकि इन दोनों के फंक्शन साथ में होते हैं. Usually, ninth nerve is motor for the stylopharyngeus muscle and middle pharyngeal sphincter. Sensory to the posterior 1/3 of the tongue. Anterior 1/3 से कौन लेके गया था? Which nerve carried sensation from the anterior 2/3 of the tongue? भूल गए. 7. ठीक है. और posterior से वेगस लेके जाता है. Again, posterior का sensory function we don't use, we don't check, but we should know कि posterior 1/3 of the tongue से sensations is taken from the vagus nerve. Sorry, now glossopharyngeal nerves. How do we check vagus? Usually we do check them simultaneously. एक तो gag reflex check करते हैं, क्योंकि usually posterior pharyngeal soft palate muscles, they all are supplied by the 9th and 10th nerves. Uvula. Ask the patient to open the mouth. पहले तो एक R test होता है. We ask them to open the mouth, put in the torch, and we see the position of the uvula. If it's central, that means both sides of the nerves are normal. If it's deviated to the one side or the other side, that means there is some problem in the muscles. Gag में we touch the posterior pharyngeal wall with a cotton stick to usually with a stick, and there will be contraction and elevation of the pharyngeal wall on that side. Again, afferent is through the 9th nerve and efferent is through the 10th nerve. So if there is any problem, so we cannot comment whether there is a problem of the 9th nerve or the 10th nerve. Achha, both these nerves have their nuclear origin simultaneously from the medulla oblongata. So usually what happens, it is very rare कि single nerve affected हो. Usually both the nerves get affected. दोनों का पाथवे सेम है, दोनों नर्व्स का ओरिजिन सेम है, तो यूजुअली दोनों का फंक्शन भी सेम है. तो यूजुअली दे बोथ आर अफेक्टेड साइमल्टेनियसली. 10th nerve, motor for soft palate, pharynx and larynx. It has parasympathetic fibers for respiratory passage, heart and most of the abdominal viscera. Usually nasal recurrence, what happens when we are हमारी body physiology क्या होती है when we are eating or drinking something. So what happens in the normal functions कि जो हमारा soft palate है and pharynx है, with their movement, passage to the nasopharynx is obliterated. ठीक है. Similarly जो larynx है, larynx is transiently closed when we swallow something. This is to prevent passage of food or water or whatever we are having, regurgitation, and as well as their passage into the trachea. So but अगर 9th या 10th में कुछ भी कोई सी भी नर्व पैरालाइज होगी तो देयर कैन बी नेजल regurgitation of the fluids, there can be nasal twang of the voice, position of the uvula moves to normal side in 10th nerve palsy. पैलेट मूवमेंट में, पैलेटल मूवमेंट में क्या होगा? नो मूवमेंट ऑन द अफेक्टेड साइड, ठीक है। और अगर बायलैटरल है तो पैलेटल पैल्सी हो जाएगी, मूव ही नहीं करेगा। This is the art as we ask the patient to say ah, and in that we look for the central position of the uvula और इसकी डेविएशन तो नहीं है, ये हम देख रहे होते हैं। Then gag reflex, you touch it with posterior pharyngeal से, and then the muscles contract on the same side, दोनों साइड पे चेक करके देख लेते हैं। Then comes the accessory nerve, which is called the 11th cranial nerve. It supplies the trapezius muscle or how do we check it? We check by ask the patient to shrug both the shoulders against the resistance. Put our hands on the shoulders and ask them to shrug it. Then dropping of shoulder on paralyzed side and scapular drop to lower levels. अगर आप पीछे से examine करें accessory nerve involvement में, the affected side's scapula would be dropped downward और shrugging would be impaired. Second test क्या करते हैं? Sternocleidomastoid को भी supply कर रही होती है ये, ठीक है। This is how you are checking the function of the sternocleidomastoid muscles. You ask the patient to move the hand and try to resist it. Again, this is how you check the shrugging of the shoulder. This is the same sternomastoid muscles checking. Last one is the hypoglossal nerve. Hypoglossal nerve क्या करती है? Its main function is to supply motor functions to the intrinsic muscles of the tongue. ये जो सारा इतनी देर तक टंग की जो एक्सरसाइज की है, this is basically due to hypoglossal nerve. How do we check it? First, we ask the patient to open the mouth and keep the tongue inside, and we just check the morphology of the tongue कि कोई उसमें twitching तो नहीं है, कोई wasting तो नहीं है, keep and any fasciculations present, the shape of the tongue. Then we ask the patient to protrude the tongue. ठीक है। अब अगर वो protrude में central रहती है तो that means the nerve is intact. Okay, it will deviate to the paralyzed side. अगर वो like left पे deviate होती है तो that means left side is paralyzed. क्यों? Because the unopposed function of the normal side, the main function is to the tongue muscles move the tongue to opposite side, तो it usually paralyzed to the normal side. क्योंकि जो normal genioglossus होगा वो push करेगा उसको to other side पे। अच्छा, again इसमें भी lower motor neuron, there is some difference between the lower motor neuron palsy and the upper motor neuron palsy. लोअर मोटर न्यूरॉन पैल्सी में फेसिकुलेशंस होगी एंड एट्रोफी ऑफ द टंग ऑन अफेक्टेड साइड होगी। अपर मोटर न्यूरॉन में यूजली जो टंग होती है वो स्पेस्टिक होती है, थिन होती है एंड पॉइंटेड होती है। ठीक है, दिस इज प्रोट्रूजन ऑफ द टंग एंड विद दिस वी कम टू द एंड ऑफ दिस cranial nerve examination, and if you have any queries you can ask it. Okay, seems everything is clear or nothing is clear. Well, I tried to make it not so boring, but still 2 hours is a very long time and we still have some time if any query, or we can discuss whenever you come in or in words. Okay, seems like there are no questions. Thank you so much for your patience and listening. So I'm ending now. हाँ जी, खत्म हो गए।